welcome back to MMA Oddsbreaker, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Frank Trigg, sitting here in the heat of Las Vegas. Yes, that is the natural Randy Couture. He is in Colorado. I thought he was up there looking at his cabin because of wildfires, but he's actually at a basketball tournament. Why are you at a basketball tournament?
Well, you and I both know Brad Anderson, one of our buddies that lives here in Colorado. His two daughters are playing on a basketball team.
Oh, okay.
They started a tournament here at Colorado State University yesterday, and we're watching them in their last two games this morning. Looks like they're going to be in the finals, and they're doing very well.
No judo for the girls? I thought they'd for sure be doing judo.
They did judo when they were younger, and now they kind of gravitated towards basketball, and they're both very good.
Wow.
They play well. Oh.
All right, well, let's. I know you got a big interview day today, so let's get right to it. Fight Masters. It's your new show is airing out. I've seen the trailer. Greg Jackson trying to push that he's the best coach on the planet, and Frank Shamrock is trying to say that he's been around since the very beginning, so he's the best coach. And Joe Warren just doesn't know any better that he's not the best coach. I mean, it's like a comedy of folly. Like, I don't understand it. You know, how does the show differ from the Ultimate Fighter show?
Well, I think first and foremost, the biggest difference is that the fighters get to choose their camps, their coaches, and their opponents. So, I mean, their destiny is literally in their own hands. Those decisions will make or break them, and I think that's going to make for a very interesting show.
Now, my understanding is it's a 13-week season with the finale being the live finale. Is that correct?
That's correct. The live finale will happen the 7th of September. It starts airing next Wednesday night, the 19th of June, and will air all summer long on Spike. I haven't heard a location or the event, but it'll be a live Bellator event for the finale.
Okay. The kids live in the house, and the ring was right by where they were living. Did you think that was a little bit too much stress for them in that kind of situation?
You know, I think it served as a reminder of why they were there. It was hard to get lost in, being in some remote house somewhere and having to go to training for those things. And I think having that cage staring you in the face every time you walked out of your room was ultimately a reminder of why they were there, and keep their eye on the prize and not get carried away with anything else.
There was 4 guys in each group, on each team. You had your 4 guys. Of the other 12 guys that were in that group, was there anybody that you wish that you had on your team?
I was really happy with the guys that chose to be with Extreme Couture, and as you know, that we had a great group of guys. And I think making that choice is a statement in and of itself. You want guys that want to be with you, that want to work with you, and those other guys were good guys. I liked them and got to know a bunch of them, but ultimately the guys that choose you are the guys you want to work with.
Now, it seemed like there was a little bit of games being played when they were choosing sides. Like some of the coaches were trying to convince guys not to go with them and go someplace else, and some other guys, were like, no, you definitely want to come with me. Like, was there a lot of that being played on? You really didn't want a particular guy, and were trying to steer him to another group that'd be better fit for him?
Well, I think we saw that game played best by Frank Shamrock. I think he was, pretty verbal and saying, hey, yeah, I think you should go with Greg Jackson, or you should, Randy Couture would be the best choice. He was a little more vocal. I find that hard to, although I did find myself in the position where I needed to discourage somebody or subtly steer them in a different direction. I was maybe a little less direct than Frank was about it. Ultimately, I think it worked out. I think Joe was worried that he wasn't going to get anybody, so he was willing to take anybody who chose him, and didn't really discourage anybody. But ultimately, it was good.
Poor Joe Warren. He's I know Joe pretty well. He's such a hyperactive guy that it's amazing that he can teach his guys anything, because he's so busy trying to move on to the next thing in his head that he can't really get his full concentration out. Did you see a lot of the other coaching styles, and did you
Well, I think that is certainly a whole nother layer to this show, having 4 coaches that all have different styles of coaching, as well as the competitors, the approach of the coaches and the tactics and the technique that's taught, and each one of our varied approaches based on our backgrounds is a whole nother thing that's interesting about this show. I just got to see the first episode. We did a screening in LA for it, and Joe Warren comes across great. I mean, I literally laughed out loud a couple times. And I remember during the selection process having sore cheeks from smiling and laughing and Joe during the selection process. He's just a very gregarious personality, and that shines through during the episode I got to see.
Now, much hasn't been said about your assistant coaches. How good do the assistant coaches look during this whole process? Or are we not going to see any of those guys until the second?
That's a loaded question, Frank.
Well, this is just wondering.
I was very happy. Obviously, you and I both have worked with Neil for quite some time, and I think he's one of the best ground guys on the planet. Very underrated. I don't think a lot of people know he's out there and how good he really is, how organized his teaching system and thought process is when it comes to ground fighting and submissions. Very, very excited about Tim Lane, the level of energy that he brings to the table, and the technical aspect that he brings. Most guys look at him as just a straight kickboxing guy, but he is really tuned into MMA now and did an amazing job with the guys on the show. And then you, Frank, I thought you were great. I think you have this opinion of yourself that you come off as abrasive and that a lot of people don't like you, but I found you to be personable. You have an amazing
don't ruin my reputation.
Background. Yeah, I know. I can't tell it, right? It's a well-kept secret, but you have a wealth of knowledge and experience in mixed martial arts wrestling. I think shines through.
Well, the one thing that I did notice about our group, that we've all worked together previous, so it was very easy to get along. But you're the only head coach that was there the entire time. Now, with you being there the entire time, the other head coaches had other responsibilities, other things they had to go do. A lot of guys, one of the coaches was barely there at all. Like, he was there only when he was required for filming. Other than that, he wasn't around. Does that really show? Does that come through in that you've seen in like the first? I've only seen the first episode, but does that come through throughout the season? It shows like how much you're there more than everybody else is.
It'll be interesting to see how much of that comes through. It didn't come through in the first episode. The first 3 episodes are really about the selection process and the competition and getting to know these young fighters. I don't see any way it's not going to come through, especially given the cardboard cutout and some of the other stuff.
That's right.
Done during the course of the show. So we can't give away too much, but it's definitely going to be a big show. I think it's going to be very successful.
Yeah, I like it. My last question before I let you out of here, because I know you got to go watch some more pumpkin pushing for Brad's girls. Are there going to be like any live blogs or live Twitter chats or anything like that during the nights of the show?
Absolutely. I think we've got somebody from Twitter on board that's going to help us coordinate all of our tweets between the coaches during the broadcast of the episodes. I think that's a newer thing that we've seen with The Voice and several other very popular shows now. And, giving the audience a sense that you're there watching the same thing they're watching is a huge thing. And obviously we will be watching, but, you and I both know we travel around a lot of places. I'm on my iPhone right now on the campus of Colorado State University, and here we are FaceTiming.
Yeah.
I think that the technology today is remarkable, and so we'll be able to share both insight and some of the astonishing things that happen during the course of this show with the fans of mixed martial arts and Fight Master as the episodes unfold.
Well, Randy, thanks for coming on here. I know you got a real busy day. I don't want to keep you too much longer. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, Fight Master starts June 19th, Wednesday nights on Spike TV. Check for your local times. You've got to watch it. It was an amazing process, and really it's the first time. Randy, fortunately, has been part of 2 major programs like this. This is my first time being a part of it, and it was an amazing process to see these kids go through. And I'm really excited about how it turned out. Like, I really like how it worked out, so I can't complain.